New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth. To live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge. On the growing edge.
And now, here's Allie.
Hello and welcome to Growing Edge Live. I'm Allie Benjamin, and it is such a joy to be here. I've taken, I think it's 8-9 weeks off for the summer, which was amazing and delightful. And now we are back with the season premiere, and I'm so happy to be here. I was sort of lost all summer without having this regular live broadcast on Mondays. And so I really realized how much I miss not only feeling connected to the viewers and connected to this amazing production company, New Thought Media Network, this group of amazing presenters that I'm a part of that bigger family. There's shows that run all week long. I don't know if it's 24/7, but we'll find out about that in a minute. Music and messages and inspiration, really targeting the New Thought community. And I'm so happy to be a part of that. And I really missed having this opportunity to have a conversation with someone every week. It really helped bring some depth and structure and some glimmers to my life throughout the week, because I would have to do my research on the person I was interviewing and get to know who they are, what they do, and how they impact the world. And all of that, I realized, having such a long break, how much that fed me and how much that enriched my life. And so I think I realized that what we do here on Growing Edge Live, me and my team, Robert and Michael, how much joy that these kinds of shows, these kinds of broadcasts bring to others. When I wasn't participating, I had a real sense of that this is something amazing that we do, and give people, our viewers, an opportunity to take a glimpse into the lives of unique individuals that are channeling their time, their energy, their resources, their love, their creativity into doing good work in the world. And I have conversations with so many different people from so many different walks of life. And what's going to be different about this season is we're going to go a little deeper. Two of my Monday shows each month will be interviews with new people, and sometimes I have people back for a second or third or even a fourth guest spot on our show, Growing Edge Live. And then I'm going to go deep into a project that I'm working on that I am super excited about. It's my growing edge, and I am writing a book. It's called Her Wings Appeared, and I have a partner. Her name is Diana Soroka, and we are going to come on live once a month, and sometimes we'll have a guest. And Her Wings Appeared, the book and the movement, because it's been something that's had a presence on social media for a decade, I think now. Well, maybe it started in the pandemic, so not quite a decade. We're going to bring on people that we are highlighting in our book. that shares stories of inspiration, stories of, and it will be women for this book, and we might do another that will be for men. But for this one, we'll bring on women that have amazing stories, that have moved through challenges and challenging times and all sorts of experiences that have really stopped them in their tracks. And in those tough times, those challenges, their wings appeared and they were able to transcend. They were able to move through whatever it was. And so we'll have those women on, we'll have discussions with them so that you might see yourself in some of their stories. And it's our hope that you gain some insights and some maybe some practices that will help you if you're ever facing a challenging time or a transition. So that's me and Diana, and we'll be jumping on once every month. And then we will also monthly be exploring the Enneagram with two of my favorite people, my classmate, my teacher, Linda Frazee and Michelle Madrano. And we'll be diving deep into the Enneagram. We'll also be having people on to discuss their type and how they get stuck in their personality and what they can do to move through, expand their perspective through the wisdom and the lens of the Enneagram. So lots coming up. We're also going to be diving more deeply into people that take teachers or leaders that take people on pilgrimages. We'll be talking to musicians and coaches and all kinds of people from all different walks of life, artists to entrepreneurs and healing arts practitioners. So stay tuned every Monday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. You can catch us here live with New Thought Media Network, and all of our broadcasts are sponsored by Versace Center. And this is a spiritual organization that I founded years ago. And we are all about inspiring minds, healing hearts, transforming lives, and expanding consciousness. Oh, all of that was a big mouthful. So today I have, for my premiere kickoff episode, I have a very, very dear and special person to my heart. It's my sister Sam, Samantha Ballard. And Sam is currently, she's the head of sales at Shala Hormone Health. Hey Sam, there you are.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking about Glimmers. She's going to tell us about this. And I find it really fascinating as I was reading through some of the notes that you sent me and how you tie that in with our family of origin. I find that really, really interesting and fascinated to hear what you have to say about that. And so why don't we get started, Sam?
Let's do it.
There you are. I know you just got back from your class. Tell us what you did this morning in your class.
Well, every day I try and start my day with movement of some sort. And so I just went to Pilates probably like 3 years ago. I was trying to kind of figure out what was going on with my body, and what I had previously done as exercise wasn't really working. So I started going to a Pilates class. I got one of those free classes. And so I went, and it's really become a good habit for me. So I knew we were meeting, but I was like, wait, I have to start my day with movement. So I just went to Pilates. I left a bit early, didn't do feet and straps just to make sure I was here on time.
Well, thank you for making that compromise. And I'm so glad that you prioritize yourself in that way, and it gives you so much energy. So, so talk a little bit about why you said yes to my invitation, being on the show, being my premiere episode, and tell us about these Glimmers.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. I know we were chatting before, and it's been 2 years since I've been on this podcast. And since then, I feel like a lot of things have changed in my life, but then a lot of things have stayed the same. And so thanks for having me. Yes, we're sisters. I learned so much from you, from Growing Edge, just our conversations, this podcast. So I'm really excited to be here as your premier guest. So thank you. And yeah, Glimmers. I think before I even get into the Glimmers, I think for people who don't know, I'll share a little bit about our family background. I don't know how much you've shared of that. But yeah, so I'm just checking my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. But Allison and I are sisters. We share the same mom, and our mom is a gold medalist for Great Britain. She actually has a gold, silver, and bronze. And if you were asking her, she'd also tell you she got fourth in the hurdles. So really an amazing athlete who in Great Britain is really fondly referred to as the Golden Girl. And so we grew up in that household. Allison and I have different dads. Her dad is an Olympic oarsman, or was. He passed away several years ago. So she's got, two Olympic parents. When our mom met my dad, he also is a gold medalist for the United States in the decathlon. So we really grew up in a family of athletes, not just our parents, but we had people coming over. Once anyone from Europe knows that you're in California, you get a lot of people that want to come and train because the climate's so good. So we had people that would come and stay, many other Olympic athletes, and just really kind of unique experiences in childhood that truly I didn't think were that unique because it was our normal. But I think now, as I edge into my 55th birthday this week, I realize how impactful those experiences were and how much they really shaped who we are and who we are still becoming, right? So that is what we grew up with. And I think at an early age, I was always asked, are you going to be in the Olympics? Like everybody would ask that when you've got two Olympic gold medalists as parents. And so I just, of course, thought I was going to be in the Olympics. And everyone would say, would you do track? Well, you don't really do track when you're a young child. So back in the 70s, we did a lot of roller skating. So I always thought that, I was great at shooting the duck. If you don't know what that is, you need to Google it or chat GPT it, that I could shoot the duck. I just roller skated all the time. I would go to skate night. Allison, I clearly remember you and I skating, and they would have like music on, and whoever sings the song, it's like thunder, lightning, and we would do like that, this. I don't even know where we were roller skating, but it was so much fun. So I always thought that I would be like the first Olympic gold medalist in skating. I don't think it's still an Olympic event, and I think I missed my moment, but that's kind of what I believed as a young child. And I think at a certain point, I realized that I might not be a gold medalist, but that I could, instead of chasing gold, notice the glimmers that were around me, because I had so many great things in my life, so many things to be grateful for. And the experience of having two Olympic gold medalists as parents opened a lot of doors for me, and gave me a lot of opportunities that I might not otherwise have had. So I feel really grateful for all of it. A lot of pressure from the outside, not necessarily from my parents to do well. But in high school, I got on ABC's Wide World of Sports. And I think you could look at that as like a lot of pressure and a terrible thing, but I just saw it as opportunity to kind of showcase who I am and, what I can do. And so I didn't really, I don't think the pressure really affected me in a negative way. It made me more resilient, if I'm being
So honest. They did a whole segment on you.
Yeah, if you actually check out, so I know we're on YouTube right now, and I've only just started sharing shorts. I've been on Instagram, Facebook, any other platform, but I just started, and I've been having so much fun on YouTube. And when I went to my YouTube channel several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, There's one longer form video on there, and it's my Wide World of Sports debut. It's like a clip highlight reel that they sent me. So that's really fun to check out.
I definitely check that out. When you were talking about the pressure from other people, I remember this was terrible. You know, I was born in 1962, and our mother won her gold, silver, and bronze in 1964 in Tokyo. And so I was just a little one. And during that time, I was going to a nursery school this is in England. And I remember being on the front page of the newspaper because I lost the egg and spoon race. And so,
can only imagine.
Yeah. So everything in England, the tabloid media is just horrendous. And they would be always like spying on my mother, trying to get random discrete shots of her and then posting articles in the newspaper. So yeah, I wasn't even aware that there were, you know, I was too young to begin with, but I have no idea how the school let the press onto into the sports day and took a picture of me losing the egg and spoon race. Oh my God.
It's so interesting. So it's a pressure from other people who are just so excited to see you not do well. And I think when those kind of things happen, you can be really disappointed as you like look back, or if you remember those moments, but you can also kind of see where there's opportunity in like the struggle or the challenge. Right. And so I think that's probably where my glimmers came from. And a glimmer for me, and the dictionary definition, is a faint, beautiful moment of light in daily life. And so we had a lot of glimmers growing up. We grew up in a beautiful place in Southern California together. And every day it was like the best day ever, as I remember, right? And there were so many things, whether it was playing with neighborhood kids, going to the beach, playing with the guard at the gate, you know, like so many fun memories.
Shout out to Monarch Bay, right?
Yeah, shout out to Monarch Bay. Had no idea what a magical place. That was honestly magic to grow up there, especially now that I don't live near the beach, and it's a lot fancier than I remember it when we grew up.
Yeah, it is.
It was a little bit more mainstream back then, but now it feels very exclusive. I don't even know if I could get in anymore.
Well, I don't think you could.
No, it's not with my clan. Okay, so I have 5 glimmers that I'll share what the 5 of them are first, and then we can kind of chat about them.
Yeah. So where did this whole concept come from? Now, I know that you have been, because you've mentioned this to me before, these glimmers. Yeah. Where did this idea come from, aside from not chasing gold, but chasing glimmers, moving out of that, you know, competing with our parents? Where did this idea that this might be helpful come from?
Well, I think for whatever reason, these things that I'm going to share are things that I did without much thought. So it's kind of just like things that I did in my everyday life. And when I meet people, a lot of times I hear, or, you know, it's always interesting what people say when you're not in the room, but like things I hear are, you always have really good energy. You're up for anything. You're always in a good mood. How are you so happy? And I think it's a mindset, and you have to choose to be like that, right? So your glass could be half empty, or you could see it as half full. And so I think I've always been an eternal optimist. And as a result of that, and growing up with different things going on, you have a choice on how you want to live. And I've always chose to be grateful, and I've chose to see the good, not the bad, or find opportunity in the challenge. And so, recently I was on another podcast, and it was because the woman I work with, Tori, did something with a woman who talked about living wide and deep. And when she talked about living wide and deep, she thought of me. And so she told me that. Now, her podcast hadn't dropped with that person, but I started thinking about my life and how I live it. And I do live a wide and a deep life. And to me, I was like, what does that actually mean? And so as I thought about it, like, why am I in a good mood? Even when there's terrible things going on all around me, you know, how do I thrive and find happiness, even, despite the challenges, where you could choose to be in a really dark place or you could choose to find the light. And so that's kind of where the idea of Glimmers came. And it's really, I started waking up and, I'd hear the sound of the birds. And I remember, in my old house, I could hear the sound of school kids. And I think it's those things that you miss, those moments and those connections. And so the Glimmers kind of came from me trying to figure out how I live happy. Like, what is it like that I do in my life? What is a day in my life like? And so I have 5 guiding lights. The first one is my senses. It's to pay attention to what you're seeing, hearing, feeling, and smelling. And so we'll get into that. My second one is always a surprise to people because I like to think I'm organized chaos, but the second one is structure. I think structure is really important. And if I think about it, even when my kids were little, I went to Teacher Ann's preschool, which was structured because I think structure is important. The third one is connections, which is no surprise. If someone were to ask me my superpower, I think it is connecting with others, meeting people where they are, and really making sure that people feel seen, heard, valued, appreciated. Because at the end of the day, it is how you make people feel that really matters. My fourth one is to celebrate everything. I don't think people celebrate enough. I think we should celebrate that it's National Coffee Day, and we should be celebrating all day long. We should also celebrate my birthday this Wednesday. The next one is, or my last one is experiences, because at the end of the day, you're not going to remember all of this stuff, but you're going to remember moments like this, where we jumped on a podcast and shared together, or you took a trip, or you went to the parents' weekend, right? I went to homecoming, the parade last week to see my son. Those are the things that make life worth living. And so those 5 guiding lights are kind of really important and help me to stay positive, even when something bad might be happening.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive into them because as you listed all of them, I thought, okay, well, what's my, how could I add to that? So I'm going to be thinking about that. So let's talk about the first one, senses. You mentioned your coffee. You've got your cappuccino there.
Yeah. So that's, you'll hear about that in a minute. But yeah, I think it's so important. So firstly, I think going to bed, like if you start there, creating some sort of sleep routine is so important. It's important for someone my age. It's important for someone like my daughter is in college. I think good sleep really is where everything starts. And so a sleep routine could include taking a shower at the end of the day, unwinding by, journaling. It could be, enjoying a family meal together, washing your face, but just really setting up your night so that you have a really good sleep, making sure that you change your sheets. I love clean sheets. That's probably a glimmer for me. But really setting up your sleep. And so if you can do that, then what happens is when you wake up, you'll wake up without an alarm because you had the sleep that you needed. You feel so much better. When you feel better, you can not only fill your own cup, but you're going to fill everybody else's cup. So I think that's really important. I love sleeping with the window open. I love hearing the birds most mornings. I love setting coffee the night before and then waking up to the smell of fresh coffee in the morning. I mean, to me, that's just a huge glimmer, right? Just that smell. Thank you to my husband who makes the coffee and sets it every single night. And so I love that. I love washing my face. I love the feel of the water on my face. And so these are things that I think I do, but I think anybody could do to kind of set them up for success. And it's really enjoying every part of that process and, putting lotion on your face and appreciating the smell of that lotion and, all of those things that you have in a morning routine. You may grab your phone, but maybe try and not do it first thing. Right. And so to me, paying attention to your senses is extremely important in setting yourself up for a good day.
Well, I love that first one because what Michael and I do, we have a little routine in going every night when we get ready for bed. I wash my face too. and then I have a lavender spritz.
Mm.
And so it's just lavender essential oil with water, and I spray it in my face, and then I go. Michael's usually already laying down, and then he always opens up his, he does have his phone usually, which I have him put that down and then spray him in the face too.
I love that.
Just those small things, they make a difference. And it's
Yes.
also a way for us to connect, like we both do it. So that's really sweet and special. And then in the morning, Michael always, my husband he's a lot like Samantha, actually, very gregarious, very upbeat and positive. And every morning he wakes me up with whispering these sweet everythings, he calls them.
Wait,
Sweet
that's
everythings. And it's usually about things we're grateful for. So he'll be
awesome.
saying, we are so blessed and grateful that we have each other. And then the list just goes on. And Michael loves to talk. And so that can last like 10 or 15 minutes sometimes.
So that's a great way to wake up for you.
It is. It's wonderful. And it's almost 30 years worth of that.
Amazing.
Can't
I know.
believe it. It's been
That
up.
actually, I remember that day you got married, so it does not seem like 30 years ago.
Well, I think it's
Older.
28, but yeah.
Yeah, nope, that sounds about right. Oh, I love that. I think that's great. Maybe I'll incorporate that and start whispering into Bart's ear in the morning. We'll see how he responds to that. Normally I'm on coffee and he's still sleeping.
Mhm.
So I could do that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but I think it's really important to stay present and be in tune with your senses. Because if you're rushing, if you have to have an alarm and you're shutting the alarm off, you're not going to appreciate all of those small things. Taking a shower. I love taking a shower. I love the way the water feels. I love a fresh towel. Like those things are such small things, but so important and so impactful.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a moment and we'll have a short break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and we are going to run through the other
The
four.
rest of them. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. Here we go. Maybe.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
What I love about Anton is the community, the people. I get to come here every year and pick up right where I left off with so many wonderful soul-centered friends.
This is our first time here, and I can't tell you the joy I've felt listening to the wonderful words of the people who are teaching us and sharing with us.
I've enjoyed every topic that's been talked about, and I've enjoyed the people. They're knowledgeable, they're loving, and it's a great space to spend a few days for yourself and for others.
You feel the love. It is literally palpable.
Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer, Board President of the Affiliated New Thought Network, Anson, speaking to you live and direct from Unity Village outside of Kansas City. We are a beloved spiritual community, and we'd love to have you join us.
So if you're thinking about it and you'd like to have a deep dive into your own soul and connect with others that are doing the same thing, then you might want to consider coming to the Anton Retreat next year in 2025 here at Unity Village. Peace and blessings to you.
find. Open my heart with the whispers of truth to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge. On the growing edge.
And now, here's Allie.
We're back with my sister Sam, and we're sharing her glimmers, which are, explain again how you define glimmers. I just thought that was really sweet.
Okay, so it's a faint, beautiful moment of light in everyday life. So I always think, when your dog runs to the front door, if you have one, when you get home, like that's a glimmer. Or, a sound that reminds you of home, or a smell that brings you back to a moment. I think there's little glimmers in every single day. We recently got a hummingbird feeder. And so just seeing the hummingbirds come and that just brings me so much joy. So it's finding those little glimmers in everyday life that actually can provide you so much happiness.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you've shared your first one, which was senses.
Yeah.
And what's the second?
Okay, so the second one always surprises people because it's structure. And I do not think I'm a structured person. I don't think anyone would think that when they think of me. They're not like, she's so structured. But I do really like kind of a loose plan. I was thinking this morning about this, and over the summer, I went with a friend and my daughter to Europe, and we knew what day we were leaving. We obviously booked our flights. We knew where we were going, and we did get a hotel. But it wasn't like we had plans every single day of we're doing this, we're doing this. We got there and we kind of experienced the moment, and we, asked people where we should go, and we took recommendations and just opened ourselves up to all of it. So it's kind of like that. We had the best trip. We ended up doing a lot of, vintage shopping when we were in Paris. And, we went to the same restaurant quite a few times when we were in Sorrento because we really liked the owner and the food was so great. So it's just kind of not planning every hour of the day, but having kind of loose structure. So again, I'm kind of organized, but disorganized. And I think a recent career transition really taught me the value of structure. In January, I was working for a company based out of Canada, and bankruptcy laws are a little bit different there. And they just got us on a Zoom one day, and the bank had taken over a company that was almost 30 years old. It was a great company, a great job. And I, for the first time in my life, found myself without a job. My kids are bigger, so it's not like I went back to just, full-time momming. It's like I just felt like I had all this time. So in the beginning, I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to work out at 11. I'm going to go to lunch with friends. I am going to, go out for drinks when people out, all the things. But I found rather quickly that I didn't feel, and I know you talk about Enneagrams, and I'm an Enneagram 3, and I need purpose. I need to do things and cross them off my list. And so what I figured out is I really liked going to Pilates early and getting some form of morning movement in. And so I still go in the 7:00 hour, Monday through Friday, to Pilates. And I like that because it gives me purpose. It gives me a reason to wake up. It gives me a little bit of routine. And then once I get there, I feel so much better. Even today, I was like, should I not go to Pilates so that I can get ready for the podcast? But I thought, I'm going to feel so much better if I get there. And so I keep that structure Monday through Friday. And I find that it just really helps me, the movement in the morning. And it helped me during that career transition because I didn't have anywhere I needed to be. And it would have been very easy to not brush my hair, to not get dressed. And when you do that, you don't feel very good. So if you get up and you get out and you see people, you start feeling so much better. I love all of the comments through the chat. It's actually fun. I don't know if other people can see those. But that's so fun. But yeah, so I really like it. And so for me, I like Pilates, and I found that. But I think for other people, it could be just getting up. I know you like to go on walks in the morning. There are so many Instagram channels where people show you what you can do in 10 minutes. In fact, I do a segment for Shala Hormone Health every Monday called Movement Monday. And it's kind of evolved. But today I'll be dropping how you could just drop and do 10 squats when you brush your teeth in the morning and at night. And if you did that every day in a month, that would be 600 squats. Like it could be that. That's free. That's easy. You don't have to go to a Pilates studio, but it's some form of movement. And then you're doing some habit stacking. So I think
that might be fun and easy for you to drop and do, 600 squats or whatever.
It's 10 squats.
10
squats.
Well, I'm just saying some people can't even do one. And so there's a couple of things. We can always do something different because I found I have some physical limitations, and there's always a way to modify and do it a little bit differently rather than say like yoga, for instance. There's many moves that I can't do, but I always try and create an alternate way of doing it. And so don't get stuck in that, oh, well, I can't do that. Spin it, try and do it differently. I love that. And you talk about structure being important, but this kind of loose structure. And I think that's good too. This morning, I didn't go on my walk because I took my advice of just relax and get ready for the podcast. It's your premiere episode. And so I want to underscore the importance of being easy. Like if you can't, if you're not able to do your structure, it doesn't have to be rigid. It can be like, okay, I'm going for a walk afterwards, after the podcast.
Yeah.
So I find it, that helps me to relax and not be so like, oh, I missed my routine. It's like alternate it, change it up, do it differently.
Yeah. I just think any form of movement is good, especially as you're aging, right? And every little thing adds up. When I first started doing Pilates, I was just kind of going whenever I could. But my daughter was not in college then. It was her last year of high school, and she had a job where she had to go early, and she wanted to go with me. So that's how I started going to the earlier classes, was really to accommodate Sophia. And then as she went away to college, I've continued going at these early hours, and it's really been just so helpful. I actually just crossed the 600 mark from my Pilates classes. And I know that came from structure. It's just every little thing added up. And there are days I don't go. Friday, I was on the wait list, never went. I don't normally work out over the weekend. I take that time off. And that's when I do go and do a walk, or I might run a 5K with Bart. I change it up. But I think structure just gives you a reason to get up, a reason to get out, and puts you in a better frame of mind to go and actually identify glimmers when you find them in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's number 2.
Okay. Number 3 is not going to be surprising at all to anyone. It's connections. I am an Enneagram 3. I don't know what it says about connections in there, but to me,
very social, very concerned with maintaining relationships.
Yeah.
So connections are very important to you.
Connections are so important to me. And I think even, if you go back to our childhood, we grew up with so many amazing people that a lot of people won't have the opportunity to meet, whether they were just people like international athletes or people who are famous. These connections are so important. And I remember during the pandemic, my oldest had been doing track, and it was, we'd had a big track meet in March, and then the pandemic hit. And I remember thinking, I love Facebook because I was friends with Dick Fosbury, who invented the Fosbury flop, which is the high jump. And he's super famous and literally invented it. And I reached out to him because we were connected on Facebook, and he's recently, passed away, but he had a conversation with me and with my son, Clay, and gave him tips. And I'm like, that really changed Clay's life. And gave him this really cool experience with Dick Fosbury. So I think it's important to stay connected to people because you never know when they can jump in and help you or someone else, in life. So the Surgeon General has a stat that loneliness poses health risks equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
So I think people are lonely, and there's so many, there's people now, and I love social media. It's really helped me in my life, but there are things in social media that have really hurt me in my life. And I think people post where they're going, and then you realize you're not included, or maybe you're not very social. I think you can, again, it's the way that you look at things, but I think connecting with people when you go to the grocery store, getting to know the person that you see every single time you go there. I know everyone's name at my grocery store. I talk to them when I see them outside of the grocery store. We are friends. I know the people through the drive-through because you get to know them. And it's like, how can you show up and connect with other people who might need a friend or a conversation? And I think, to me, that's really important.
Well, I've always been impressed with your ability to not only maintain relationships. Like, I think of all your high school friends. You're still friends with your high school friends. Elementary, sorry. Molten.
And high school.
Yeah. And you have a particular way, and I don't know that this isn't this. I mean, it's not unique to you, but I think it's something that you're really strong at, which is nurturing those connections, nurturing those relationships. You go out of your way to make people feel special. And that leaves a heartprint on people. Like people, you mentioned at the beginning, people remember how you made them feel. And Sam, you are the queen at making people feel seen, heard, and special. And so I want to, just throw that out there. And maybe if you're someone that hasn't really thought of this, to think about how you can connect with friends, old friends. I know for me, something I do, especially when I'm having sort of a darker time, I will send a text out to maybe 4 or 5 people I haven't talked to in 6 months, and just say, hey, it's Allie, I'm thinking of you and I'd love to connect. And I think it's kind of I have to be vulnerable and I have to put myself out there a bit to do that kind of thing. Yeah. But I tend to get a response. They'll either send me a heart or say, oh my gosh, I've been thinking of you, or yeah, let's talk next week. And pretty soon, like it goes, those darker days become lighter, because that's a glimmer to be able to just outreach and say, hey, you don't have to explain that you're not, you're in a darker place, but you can say, I'm thinking of you. I'd love to connect.
I love that. And a lot of times I wake up in the morning, and when I'm sitting there, someone will pop into my head for absolutely no reason. And so not all the time, but I go through phases where I'll just send a note of gratitude to the person. Like, it's been a while. I'm thinking of you. Maybe I share, something that happened, and it's not like we have to have this long conversation, but I'm letting them know that they're important to me and that I'm thinking of them, because life goes by so fast and we get so busy being busy that we stop to really appreciate people for like the impact that they've made in our lives. So, you may not be super social. You may be like, oh, Sam, you seem like you've got a lot of energy. It's National Coffee Day. You've probably had a couple too many cups. But here's the thing. You could do a recipe swap with friends and start a text thread. You could be in a book club if you're more of an introvert, but just something that makes you actually get out and connect with people. Even for me, when I was not working for a couple of months, I would go to Pilates, because going to Pilates, I would see Heather at the front desk. I would see the regular people in the class. And I don't always talk to people. It's early in the morning, but you see those people and you're part of a community and you have a connection. And it's that common, connection of Pilates, but then you see them out in the community. So I think connections are really important, whether it's going to the grocery store. Even at the end of the day, sometimes I work from home, and it's challenging working from home because you are home by yourself most days. But at the end of the day, I'll go and watch the sunset with my husband. My oldest works on a farm. And so we'll go out there, and that way I get to see him in action. We don't have to have a huge conversation, but I'm connecting with him. I'm connecting with his coworkers. I'm with my husband. We're connecting for a few minutes while we watch the sunset. So I think it's important to figure out how you can connect with people in your day, and then how you can kind of show up for people who might need you and, connect with them too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right. So that was number 3. What's Glimmer number 4?
Okay, so number 4, I love because it celebrate everything. We're obviously starting with National Coffee Day, but I think big or small milestones matter. And so for me, I have been in the world of social selling for a lot of years. And way back when, I was a part of Stella and Dot, and that was jewelry and accessories, clothing. But what I found was, I started getting celebrated for little things that I did. And I really needed that in my life. You're laughing because I'm an Enneagram 3, but I really needed that. And I think in life, we don't celebrate things. Nobody's celebrating much. So for me, I realized how important that was. And I think celebrating, like I just had my 600th Pilates class. That's something to celebrate. It's National Coffee Day. Go out with a friend and have a cup of coffee. Like, those little tiny things. On Tuesdays, have tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. Celebrate those little things and then celebrate the big things. We've had high school graduation. My daughter's at school. We're going to parents' weekend. We're going to celebrate all of the big things and the little things. But I think it's really, really important. You can celebrate with a post. You can celebrate with a moment. You can celebrate by sharing with other people what you did. And that's where community comes in. It's important to have a community and then to celebrate people within that community, whether it's your friend group, your book club, your Pilates friends, whatever it is. But you need to set a goal, and then you need to celebrate when you reach that goal. And if you don't reach the goal, celebrate it, because it's normally in the journey getting there, the real success. And so, and then think about how you're going to celebrate if you set a goal. Like, what are you going to do? And have something to look forward to, because I don't know where I read this the other day, but it's really important to have things to look forward to.
So what are you looking forward to? Do you have a goal, a big idea, or something that you're moving in that direction of?
Right now, I knew I was going towards 600 Pilates classes. I like little things, and we'll get to experiences, which is number 5. I'm trying to get to 1,000 Pilates classes now, which seems like there's 400, classes in between now. So it's like, what am I going to do? So I've got that. But no, like for me, it's like, I'm looking forward to little things. We've got parents' weekend. Well, I've got my birthday Wednesday. So I have that
to look forward to. Big celebration.
Yeah, 55. So excited. Then I've got Parents Weekend this weekend. So I know Sophia ordered us some merch, and we're really excited to celebrate. I'm going on a work trip next week, Monday through Wednesday. So really excited about that, to connect with a bunch of people. And then we're moving into the holidays. So, there's so many things to celebrate. And then with my Pilates and things, I'll be doing that every day and getting closer and closer to that 1,000.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's the journey, not the destination, right?
Always. And I think people get stuck on the destination, but it's like, even going on a trip, it's about like planning the trip and packing for the trip and thinking about the trip and being excited for it, so that when you're there, you can really experience everything. And so that's my next glimmer. Beautiful. And the last one that I think is really important to focus on is experiences. It's what makes the world go round. It's, when my kids were little, I started doing social selling with Stella and Dot because I wanted some me time. All I did was clean the house, change diapers, feed people. There was no time for me. And now that 2 of my 3 kids are out of the house, I'm looking for we time. I love when everybody's under one roof. I love when Find My Phone says everybody's at home. And those moments there's not a lot of them. I really appreciate little experiences that everyone can participate in, the sun setting every single day. I love meals together, family meals. I love trips and shared experiences. I got to go with my friend and my daughter this summer, and it was so nice to have quality time together. and like creating memories, right, and experiences. So
Now
I think
you went to Paris, and then you went to Capri, didn't you?
we went to, yeah. So my friend Elaine is in her 70s, and she really wanted to go visit her brother, and he lives in France. And so we were going to do it. We weren't going to do it. Sophia had a very small window of time, and she's turning 21 in December, and her middle name is Capri. So Elaine was like, I think we go visit my brother and we take a trip to Capri in honor of Sophia's birthday. Now, we would have done it in December, but she's going on study abroad right after that, and it didn't make sense. So yeah, we went to Paris, and then we went to Sorrento and did some day trips. One of them was to Capri. And then we finished off in the south of France, in Rouge visiting Elaine's brother. And it was magical. It was really great.
What a way to celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I think it's important to say yes to things, to not overthink it. Whether it's a birthday, a concert, visiting a friend, it's really easy to say no, because we want to go to bed at 8:00 or whatever it is. But I think, try and say yes to experiences. You don't need to be the yes person for everything, but to experiences, jump in with 2 feet, try something new, because those experiences are what you're going to remember, especially at the end of your life. And that's why it's so important to live wide and deep.
Yeah. All right. So, I love the way that you organize and prioritize family trips. And that's an amazing, experience to have, is to it costs a lot more money to take the whole family for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So tell us about some of the experiences you've had with your kids throughout the decades, as you've traveled so much.
So travel is so important to me. I even when I didn't have any money, there's always a way to make it happen. And so whether it's like you're recycling your clothes or recycling cans or doing these little things to get extra money and you save it for a travel fund. So when the kids were little, we took them when Cooper was a newborn to Australia, and we went for 3 months. That was amazing. We were in Byron Bay, and memories that, even for him on a cellular level, he'll have forever. And we had that experience. We took the kids to the Olympics in 2012. It was in London. Our mom won her gold medal in London. And so, for Great Britain. And we thought this is a great place for her to be celebrated. Her medal was actually in Tokyo, but we just thought this is the last time it's going to be in London in her lifetime.
Right.
So we were really, really lucky to go and see you while we were there.
Yeah.
We've taken them to France. We've taken them to Italy. We have friends that were living in Florence. We've taken them to Nicaragua for a summer, and we lived in a beach house. And so those moments really were so great. And most recently, we decided to not have gifts. And so no Christmas gifts last year for us. Instead, we decided to go to Zihuatanejo, rent a house. And we actually went out on a fishing boat with my friend's, a captain that she knows who comes and visits Davis on Christmas Day. And it was really magical. I wish we could do that every year, but alas, it does cost money. But yeah, it's just so important to create those experiences. And if you don't like travel or you can't afford to travel, there are a lot of other ways you can, have experiences, shared experiences. But if you can travel, I say, do it.
Yeah. Well, staycations, for me and my family, we've got quite a few of us. And so we will rent or go to stay at our timeshare. And even though it's only, 10 miles away from us, it's a whole different change of pace. It's a whole different vibe. And our timeshare, we've had it for close to 30 years. And so it's very familiar because we go there every year. And so that's a more maybe affordable way of having an experience that's outside of your normal, outside of your home, but you're somewhere special, somewhere together. And it seems like when we're on vacation, our experience is deepened by some of the things that we do, like playing a game, or going for a walk together, or just hanging out in the jacuzzi together. Those experiences, they're really meaningful.
They bond you.
Yeah, this last weekend, I took my granddaughter. It was just the two of us, Kylie and I, and we went to Red Butte Garden. It's a local botanical garden. And just the two of us walking around, taking pictures of all the roses and all the plants. And she stopped and said, Nana, I love spending time with you. This means so much to me.
That's so nice.
It is. So it's those simple things that we can do with the people in our lives that are important to us, that, yeah, we can go on those safe, I love that you collect cans, safe cans and collect the money for them and, you know, go on a big adventure across the seas. But we can also find the small, you know, little experiences to have in our own homes. I think last night, my daughter Alex, she made us dinner. She doesn't do that very often because she's working a lot. And so that was an experience to not have to cook and to have someone make me a meal and to just enjoy that, just being called, dinner's ready. It's like, oh, and go down and have that experience.
So nice when someone else cooks for you.
Oh, it's such a blessing.
And it's an experience, a meal around the table where you're having conversation. And I think being in the south of France this summer, I was like, wow, they really pick the tomatoes from the garden and make the dinner and watch the sunset every night. And I was like, these are my kind of people. Like, it was just so awesome. And then you have that shared experience around the table. You know, we did a lot of candlelight dinners with conversation and music, and Cat Stevens forever will remind me of my time in the south of France.
That's so sweet. So we're here at the end, Sam, and I'd love it if you had anything else to add to what you've already shared. Do you have one last glimmer, a sixth one?
Well, no, there's really 5 glimmers, but I think like I'll go over them again just so that you can write them down and then think of how you might be able to loosely incorporate this into your life. The first one is tune into your senses, be present, you know, meditate if you want to, journal when you can, but take a few minutes. And I didn't mention, every day when I come home from Pilates, I have a cappuccino. And I take my cappuccino in the backyard. I didn't do that today. So today I was here with you. But I sit for 10 minutes and I kind of in my mind go through, what am I doing today? What do I need to do? I kind of just like go over that. And then I come in and I get going. So figure out how you can tune into your senses, how you can find some structure in your own day, whether it's just one thing that you do every day that's the same. Think about connections. Who can you connect with? How can you be a connection for someone else? And how can you go out and connect with other people? And then celebrate everything. Like, what are you going to celebrate this week? Is it National Coffee Day today? Start with that.
Birthday.
Yeah. Celebrate my birthday on Wednesday. You can wish me a happy birthday on YouTube if you can find me. And then, you know, think of an experience that you can create, whether it's a meal around the table or a trip that you're going to plan for and save for and be really intentional about. You know, I know that I grew up with gold medal parents, but I think leaning into the glimmers that you can find in every day, they're the things that matter. And I'm really excited for all of you to find your own glimmers and to lean into a wide and deep life.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Those were beautiful. I love you. I'm so blessed that you're my sister. And thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I love you.
Thanks everyone for being here. And we'll see you next week live from Unity Village. Mwah. Bye from the Growing Edge.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth. To live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge.